Hello and welcome to Singular Stars. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the playthrough I've just had of the Ultima solo mode for Concordia that's been put together by David Digby and you can find on BoardGameGeek. I'll put a link to this below. Alright, that went really well. It felt quite competitive. I know the end score puts me significantly in the lead, but it didn't feel particularly sure to me. Certainly early on, obviously I'm a bit rusty, which is a bit of a problem. I've not played Concordia in some time, so just getting into the rhythm of it again was a bit painful. I think the AI probably had a couple of rounds where maybe it wasn't making the most effective sets of moves, but it was generating loads of cash. It was building good sets of buildings. You know, it felt like you were playing against someone else without it actually being particularly difficult to manage the AI. I do have a kind of question around how Prefect is supposed to work. I don't think I've quite got it, the choice that it should be making. I don't think I've got that quite locked down. I was trying to make a choice for it that would give it the best possible benefit in general. So I think I played it fairly. Also, it's not entirely clear to me what to do with Architect if you've not really got much in the way of resources. I think maybe if you draw the Architect card out and you haven't got the resources to do anything, maybe there needs to be another action that's taken instead, because it felt a bit bad that a couple of times when Architect came out, the AI basically couldn't do anything, and I think that's cost it a number of points, because if it could have started building a bit more out here, then that would have been a few more points to it. Because it could actually finish the game early as well, if the two Architect cards that came out, it had been able to actually build something, then it would have terminated the game earlier. It would have gotten the 7-point Concordia card. It would have prevented me from buying the last two cards from up the top. So that would have been a reasonable shift in points, I think. Combined with if it had been able to buy this Wine Minerva card that I managed to snatch out. Obviously, I could see how it was going, so specifically nipped in there. It doesn't have any particular drive to optimize based on the Minerva cards it has, other than if it plays the Minerva card, it's going to get itself a number of those resources, and that, if an Architecture card comes out, means it will be more likely to try and build them. So it does, I suppose, feed into it. And that's actually the nice thing with the AI as a whole. It does feed itself quite nicely as an engine. Now, that obviously that part of that's down to Concordia. The starting cards you have very much allow you, if you play them all out, you get a reasonable engine going. And the AI basically leverages that. It doesn't always play out the same way every time. There's a lot of variance in it, but it takes the engine that Concordia has and runs it. And it runs it in a fairly simplistic way in terms of managing it. There's no overhead to it. Turning the card over and executing the actions. Once you've remembered what the actions do, which after the first round I'd pretty much remembered it, and it's been about 6 months since the last time I played it. You can burn through them. It just plays in a really nice time frame. It feels like you're playing against another person. Yeah, they don't always react to what you're doing, but certainly they can play a card and then try and nip in and ends up taking something that you wanted, or making something more difficult for you. They move all over the board. I actually quite like the way they move around the board. There's definitely a feeling that they're trying to get around the board. They're trying to pick up things. They're spreading themselves around quite nicely. It's not just that they're slowly plodding out from Rome, building as they go. They actually seem to have a bit of a a velocity away from Rome to try and build further out, which then means that they are more likely to gain all the different states, and so they can then start satisfying the Saturn endgames scoring. So I think it's really neat the way it all works. I think its simplicity belies its ingenuity. It just seems fairly straightforward. You take the card off the deck, you do something that's pretty lined up with what the actual card is for, and on you go. But actually, just the little variables that set the prioritization, the way it tries to move away from Rome, those things come together to actually make it feel pretty good. Concordia itself is a fantastic game. It really is an absolute stone cold classic, I think. I don't have the Salt expansion. I don't have Venus. I'm really keen to try Venus in teams. So I think you play it in teams of 2 up to 6 player, and my group is. We keep talking about it, but getting the right number of people together at the right time, in the right space, with the game in hand is always the problem. But we're very keen to get that out. But as a solo game, this has been really good fun. There's loads of different things to puzzle out. You feel like you're playing against someone. It's a cracking game. It doesn't feel like somehow the game's been restricted in order to play against the AI. I think it's top notch. I really do think that it's changed the game. That having an AI, having the ability to actually take a Euro game like this, be able to play it solo when before you couldn't, means that it's a game that I would probably have sold this one on, actually. I don't tend to keep games that don't have solo modes in my collection for long, because my group tends to collectively have a very wide selection of games, and so having duplicates such as this, there's not much point. I generally play solo games when I'm at home, so it's not really worthwhile for me to hold on to multiplayer games unless they've got an excellent solo mode. This really does. This is up there, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I know that I had a few questions around how to play Prefect a little bit, and I know that sometimes I'm having to make decisions that I feel are most beneficial to the AI, but I don't mind necessarily doing that. I don't mind doing that as long as that's within a structure. I know it's not an absolute rigid format, but that's fine. I'm the decisions where I had to make, or the queries that I had to take from it, were pretty minor. They're not going to be a massive impact to the way the AI actually was going to behave. I'm not deciding what card the AI is going to play. More just trying to figure out, well, actually, what would it do in this edge case scenario? Yeah, so I'm quite enamoured with it, really. If some rules come out that include Salt or Venus, I'll definitely be all over those expansions. Yeah, so all in all, really good fun. I would highly recommend it. If you already have Concordia and you like playing solo games, definitely try out the solo variant. If you don't have Concordia, definitely go and try it. It's a really fun game. If you can find it at a good price, I would definitely take it. Alright, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. If you have, it's a real benefit to me if you could click on the like button, or if you could subscribe to the channel. Every time you do that, that helps in terms of getting more visibility for the channel through YouTube's algorithms, Every like, every minute watched, every subscriber, they all kind of feed into how YouTube chooses what videos people get shown or advertised to. So it does help a lot. Obviously, I'm just starting out. I'm more than happy to receive any feedback you've got in terms of how the videos go, how they look, how they sound. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think, what you'd like to see more of, what games you'd like to see. I'm definitely open to suggestions on that. I think my next game is looking like being a Machina Arcana playthrough. I need to actually have a read through the rules and have a play of it a few times first, just to see if it's going to be a fit. But yeah, if there's something you want to see, let me know in the comments below. I'll be very glad to hear from you. Comments, good or bad. I'm open to hear whatever you've got. All right, thanks guys. It's been really good fun. See you next time. Bye bye.